I'm not going to fix the misspellings. The misspellings are actually pretty cool because it's going to piss off the arrogant. It's an easy weeding mechanism. It's why rappers use cuss words. Why I use cuss words to degree might actually help me in that I piss off the people that wouldn't listen or even accept anything I have to say as truth. If somebody lies to you, maybe it's because nobody ever believed them. And when you tell a lie and they believe and you believe them, they say, this person listened to me and believed and trusted that I could give them something that I knew was a lie, but they maybe I should give them truth because now I realize they trust me. When in a world where nobody trusts anybody, in the extreme form of having been really wronged, a lot of people have empathy. There are some people who have stereotyped people and really don't identify with them, which is an attribute of psychopathy. Something that either happens in the brain or some behavior you developed through really reasoning things out badly and need to understand that it's flawed. I've got stuff that's flawed. I'm just pointing it out that it's a psychological thing that a psychologist was talking to you about. You might go over and get some Dianetics and actually think you're controlling the psychopathy, but or that attribute, but you may never get out of it. Just understand what it is. That's to understand what it is the start to trying to figure out how to fix it. But I fail to see how masturbating to porn is evil whenever I'm coming to the realization that what I'm really masturbating to, why I'm masturbating, first of all, is to try to get dopamine. Your brain will, it's really just the lubricant of getting to that point of masturbating, which I talked to somebody about this, a friend of mine who was a Christian, and I said, is masturbation wrong? He said, no. The part that's wrong is lusting after women while you masturbate. And I was like, so I could masturbate, and if I could find something else that would trigger me other than women, that's very difficult. I don't think you can do that. So I have to think, okay, is porn as awkward as. Look, wait 1 second. In the past, in Jesus' time, did they have magazines? What was close to porn? What could be close to porn? It's basically an art form that reminds you of women or looks like women. Sculptures. You masturbate to a sculpture of a woman. Is that the same as lusting after a woman? You could actually create an AI face in a body of a woman that doesn't exist right now. And you're really, even though you're lusting after that non-existent, that would be a way to transform porn that would be humane. You're lusting after a not a real and not a really actual person, but a computer's imagined thing. Maybe the bad thing is lusting after women and not being able to satisfy and bring into your life the beauty that you need, that you're taking to mean um, physical physical superficial beauty and not inner beauty. Because it says in the Bible, it says a woman who is devoted to God, devoted to Christ, devoted to the teachings of Jesus in seeking of the truth is worth her weight in gold. I've known such a woman, and I failed to mate with her in college. All my friends were telling me she's not interested in me. She's not interested in this guy, these guys, in me or you, but you, she's actually she's attracted to you, and something about her kind of turned me off, and I think it was just the earrings. If she had different earrings, it would have been a different thing. I don't like pearl earrings. That was what pissed me off. And she may have been an angel. And if she's an angel that came down in human form, if you're out there, and I know you're watching, you probably already knew this, but I could express to you, it wasn't you, it was the friggin' earrings. Little things like that can really just do it wrong. I'll just let it be known. I don't like pearl earrings. I don't know why I don't like pearl earrings. I just don't like pearl earrings. It's I just fail at the aesthetic of pearl earrings. I don't have problems with pearls. I have problems with pearl earrings. I don't know. It's something that I would probably have to go to a lot of psychological therapy and stuff, and I'd have to have hypnotists, and I have to have somebody that's digging around in my memory, and it may end up being something like I was a baby and I choked on a pearl earring. But it's pearl earrings. I like dangly earrings. I even like zero piercings. I like completely natural, smelly, farting, hairy, masculine disposition, even to the point of being almost abusive. Because that idea of being able to tame that girl who would not give you the time of day, and then she eventually gives you something special, a little bit of touch, a little bit of something here or there, and you think, and your brain's just pumping dopamine without you haven't even gotten to sex, and you're already getting dopamine because you're thinking you're having an effect. There's this guy on TED who said one of the tricks to seduction: go on a date with someone, and it's methodical. It is as cruel as fuck, but he says it works. I don't want to try it. To me, it doesn't seem humane, but it's a method. For the first half of the date, completely disagree and believe that everything is wrong. I don't like this food. Man, this music sucks. That waiter sucks. And your date is talking about something she likes, and you're like, I've never really been interested in that. So you're just completely disagreeing with her the whole way through. Not the whole way through, halfway through. And then halfway through, you start being so inspired and you become positive, and you're just like loving everything. There was this group called Improv Avenue where they did something similar to this, but on the positive side. But the negative was is that they didn't hang around afterward. They went to a concert called from a band called Ghost of Pasha, and they trained themselves. Basically, they picked somebody off the web who had some album, no viewership. They found the perfect specimen. This band, Ghost of Pasha, that had come together, and they were looking for somebody that was really new. Like 3 days, they were a band. And everybody that shows up, improv anywhere, the same guys that do jumping jacks and windows and show up half naked on subways in New York City. You've seen these guys. The guys that go into Starbucks and do this repeating time loop where people start to think that they can predict and they believe they're in some sort of alternate universe. There's a This American Life about it. There's also This American Life about this story, and a video to boot, that they covered in Showtime when This American Life tried to go as a video series. I think Hourglass could do it again. I think the second time around it would work. It didn't work so much the first time around. I think it probably either ended up being costing so much. But the thing was, is they came together and everybody knew the words and pretended like this band was the best thing since sliced bread. And then the cruel thing was, is they all disappeared when the whole thing was over, and the band couldn't make friggin' sense of it. It was such a psychological feedback curse. It took them a while before they came to realize that it was probably a good thing. It was a gift, but first of all, it was a mystery that was really fucking them over badly. And when I say fuck, and the elder people in the room don't want to hear, especially the Christians, I'm not trying to. It does say the things that come out of your mouth are unclean, but how many things do we adopt today in our speech that would be cruel to an elder generation in the past? It's just going to get more and more corrupt. It's language, and it's language to mean something that is just really, really wrong. So if it's hard to listen to that word, I'm sorry. If you can't hear that word, if you don't want to hear that word, leave. It's your best way out, because I'm not going to not use it. To me, it really, it hurts to say it, but it is a way of expressing the idea. And if God was to do it, God would probably, with every single one of those, would probably say, you're supposed to stone them to death. You're supposed to stone them to death. You're supposed to stone them to death. It's an expression that's very hard to hear. If you work on a Sunday, you're supposed to stone that guy. You're supposed to be stoned, because you're not supposed to work on a Sunday. The emphasis there was not to be stoned, but to understand the weight of not being given rest, and not others giving you the capacity to have the privacy to rest on a Sunday. And then there was a sabbatical year where you were expected to have the faith enough to be able to spend an entire year without working, where God would provide you such an amount of crop of wheat for 3 years that would basically get you through that year, a whole year without work. And you think this COVID stuff is weird? No, it's biblical. It was probably methodical. It was probably what God put in order a long time ago, put it into certain animals you just don't eat, like bats. That there's viruses in bats. Check up with any of your zoologist or whoever it is that deals with bats. Your the people that work in the animal clinics. I want to say volcanologist. I know that's wrong. Sounds like veterinarian. Volcanologist. Yeah, Spock people. Now, check up with those guys. Check up with the people that are into animal biology and all that. That know that stuff. There are things in there that we don't even know what will do in our body, and so that the Christians among them will say it is biblical. It's in there. Don't eat bats. Don't eat birds. Don't eat crows. Don't eat small birds. Don't eat cordyline. It's, to eat cordyline, I don't know what it is. It's a small bird, is actually outlawed in France, and they had a certain ruler who knew that he had one a very short time to live, and one of his dying wishes was to eat cordyline. And the way to eat cordyline is to put a towel over your head, and it's steamed or something, and you kind of take in the odor of this bird, and it smells wonderful, and then you eat it. And there just isn't much meat on the bird. It's really cruel sounding. The reason why you don't eat is because it's a small bird, and there's probably a lot of other things associated with it. I'm going to get back to what I thought I was talking about.